keeping quiet or taking out some time from our busy life and pondering over our activities and their consequences is something essential for a fruitful life. This is what we found in the first video on Pablo Neruda's poem Keeping Quiet. In that video we found that Neruda tells us the benefits of keeping quiet, although he makes a proposal that throughout the whole world, population of the whole world should keep quiet for 12 seconds and think about their actions and their consequences. At the same time, when you keep quiet for 12 seconds, at least during those time, human beings will not harming others, they will not be harming themselves. So the victims will get some freedom at least during those 12 seconds. But the actual message of the poet is that we should make it a habit. This should be something very common to us, that we should take out some time, relax and introspect on our actions, what we are doing, why we are doing this kind of things, where are we leading ourselves to. These kind of things we should make a habit to work. Coming to the next part, the next stanza, before I go to the next stanza, let me make one thing clear to you, that in the very first couplet, the first two lines, let us see them again. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. I did not tell you the meaning of the word still, I forgot to tell. Still here means the same thing as silent or quiet. Here the word still is used to mean silent or quiet, although the word still is often used, it is popularly used for a different meaning. He is still sleeping. That still and this still are different. This still is adjective and he is still sleeping, that is adverb. And there still sleeping means till this time, up to this time. And here still means silent or quiet. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still, we will all keep quiet. Another point that I would like to tell you before we discuss our topic today, our part today, that is, in the last stanza that we discussed in the first video, the poet makes a proposal that those people who were engaged in war and because of this they were harming their fellow human beings, let them think about their activities and let them change their attitude, let them wear clean clothes. It means let them bring a change in their actions and mind. And then at the end the poet said they should work about with their brothers, the people against whom they fought, the people against whom they had cherished enmity. Let them be united with them, let them feel friendly with them, let them live in harmony with them, let them work together in the shade doing nothing. No need to do anything else. No need to make big slogans and delivering lectures about communal harmony, about fraternity, about universal brotherhood. No, don't do anything, just be at peace with your fellow beings. If you can do that, if you can forget enmity, if you can shun enmity, and if you can start living in harmony with your fellow human beings, that's it. No need to do anything else. Doing nothing is important. Doing nothing is much better than doing the wrong things. So this doing nothing, this phrase is important. We will again find it in today's discussion. That's why I have reminded it to you. Doing nothing, that is important. Now coming to the next stanza, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no track with death. If we were not single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. This long stanza is again very important. Here we get some change, we observe some change in the narration. What is the change? So far we got the poet is advocating the need for keeping quiet, the need for thinking over our actions and their consequences, what we are doing and what are the consequences of these kind of activities. This is what the poet asked us to ponder, to think over. And he discussed the need for keeping quiet, that if we keep quiet, then we will realize that we were harming ourselves and other fellow beings, that we were doing harm to the environment, to the world. These things we will realize, and we will realize universal brotherhood of mankind. Now the poet is making one thing very clear, that people may complain, they may say that if we stop working, if we stop moving our arms and stop speaking, how can we live? We will be like dead body, we will be inactive, we will be idle, we will be lazy. Why are you making such a proposal? The poet said, don't be confused. What I am saying is one thing, and being idle or being inactive, that is a different thing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Total inactivity is a different thing. My suggestion, my lecture, what I am telling, that is a different thing. Total inactivity. What is this total inactivity? Total inactivity means not doing anything at all. The poet said, I don't tell you that stop doing your activities, nothing to do, keep quiet, remain quiet. No, I am not saying this. I am not talking about total inactivity. Total inactivity may also mean death, because when someone dies, he becomes totally inactive. Other than death, even during our sleep also, we don't become totally inactive, because during sleep also, you sometimes respond to others. Someone is asking you and you are in your subconscious mind. When you get up, you forget that yes, I spoke like that. But during sleep, you do respond. During sleep, you do chase or you kill a mosquito who pinches on your body. This means during sleep also we don't become totally inactive. So total inactivity may mean death. The poet said that you people may have some complaints, you may have some kind of argument that I am advocating that people should become like dead body. No, that is not my point. Life is what it is about. Life is what it is about. It means life is what life is about. It means life means life. Life means action. You have to move, you have to work, you have to do your activities, you have to talk, you have to use your arms, you have to move your body, you have to be active. That is life. I am not saying anything against life. I am speaking in the spirit of life only. I want no track with death, no track with this track. One may say that I want no track with death. It means the poet does not want that, here death means dead body, that I don't want tracks full of dead bodies. It means I don't want war, because of war there will be huge death, and because of this trucks full of dead bodies will be moving. This is what I don't want. But that should not be the explanation, because in this paragraph the poet is speaking about life, and the phrase that he uses, I want no track with death. No track with means no communication with, no link with. I want no track with death means my topic is not death. I am not talking about death. Death is not my subject of discussion. Death is not at all a matter of concern for me. My matter of concern is life. I want no track with death. It means my discussion, my topic, it has nothing to do with death. It has to deal with life. If we were not single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt the sadness of never understanding ourselves and threatening ourselves, with death. This is a long line, and you have to have much patience to understand this. This is a very important point, and this is one of the core issues of this poem. See, if we are not single-minded about keeping our lives moving, single-minded, what is this single-mindedness? Single-mindedness means determination. If you are single-minded about doing a thing, it means you are determined. You are mad after it. You don't understand anything but it. For example, you want your son to become a doctor, and you are doing everything possible for him to study science and to crack the entrance, and before that you are spending money for his entrance. You are really very much determined that your son should get a seat in a medical college. It means you are single-minded about your son's medical study. This is single-mindedness. The poet said, if we are not single-minded about keeping our lives moving, we people are single-minded about keeping our lives moving. It means we all are busy doing our job, getting up in the morning and then going to office or to our workplace and spending time there, and in the evening coming back home and again just thinking about how to earn more money, how to ensure that my children will live happy lives, how to purchase more property, how to construct a building, how to open a new business. This is what we are all engaged in. We just want to keep our life moving. We are single-minded about this. We are single-minded about keeping our life moving. The poet said, if we are not single-minded about keeping our lives moving, yes, being too much involved, too much busy about making your life move, that is not a good thing, because while doing this, you are doing it at the cost of your own health, your own physical and mental well-being. You, for example, you are a life insurance agent. In the morning you go and you want to collect money, you want to meet new people, convince them to start to open a new policy, and that's why you are spending time, and when it is time for taking food, to take lunch, you cannot come home back, you are taking paratha or something else in the hotel, and in this way you are causing harm to your body. You will have some gastric problems later on. So we are made after earning money and having more property, and while doing this we are harming ourselves, we are harming others. If you are opening a factory or an industry, this will create environmental pollution. In this way you are causing harm to environment, you are causing harm to other fellow beings, but we are not at all concerned about it, because we are single-minded about keeping our lives moving. The poet said, if we were not single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and if you could do nothing, yes, doing nothing, I told you earlier, doing nothing is very important. Doing nothing is better than doing the wrong thing. So instead of doing bad things, doing nothing is better. Since we are not able to do these things, since we are not restraining ourselves from our preoccupation with life, and we are not able to do nothing, the poet is unhappy at this state of affairs, and then he makes a proposal that I have a proposal. What is the proposal? My proposal I have already made. Keep quiet for a little while, for 12 seconds. Then this, what will happen is that this will be a huge silence. If we follow the poet's proposal and people of the whole world, they together keep quiet for 12 seconds, throughout the whole world there will be no movement of any vehicles. Now I am speaking and you can also hear the sound of vehicles running on the street. These movement of vehicles will be stopped for at least 12 seconds. No movement of any kind of machines. Your speech is stopped, your lip, your tongue and your hands are stopped from working. So this will be a huge silence, because throughout the whole world this silence will be practiced. And then the poet said this silence might interrupt. What is this interruption? You know, interrupt is when someone is doing a thing or someone is speaking and you just enter and you just ask a question. For example, someone is busy listening to news and you suddenly go and ask him something. Oh, when did you come? The man will get distracted. You have interrupted. So this is called interruption. The poet said that if we keep quiet for 12 seconds throughout the whole world, this huge silence will interrupt. Interruption usually is not a good thing. For example, the example that I have given, you were listening to news or you were talking to someone over phone, or you are thinking about something and someone comes and asks a question all of a sudden. This is an interruption, and this interruption is not good. It distracts you from your job. But the poet here is talking about a kind of interruption that is good. What interruption is it? The poet said, if there is a huge silence for 12 seconds throughout the whole world, this silence will interrupt, and this interruption will be a good interruption. What kind of interruption is it? It will interrupt this sadness. This is a very important point in this poem. The question often comes, what is this sadness that the poet refers to? Neruda talks about this sadness. This sadness. What is this sadness? The example I have given just a while ago on interruption, and I have told you that interruption in those cases are not good, because you are thinking about something, you are reading a book or you are listening to the news and someone comes and asks a question suddenly. This interruption is not good. But Neruda here talks about an interruption that is good. He said, this huge silence throughout the whole world will cause interruption. It will interrupt. What will it interrupt? It will interrupt sadness. This means there will be a break in sadness. If you are reading a book and someone interrupts, then your reading is stopped for a while. You have to talk to him, then again you have to start reading. But the poet is talking about interrupting sadness. This means we are sad. Sadness is throughout the whole world. So there will be an interruption in sadness. There will be some break in sadness. For a while at least, we will be free from sadness. What is this sadness? The question often comes, what is this sadness? The poet said that for two reasons there is sadness. We human beings are sad, especially the poet said he is sad. This sadness in our mind is caused by two things. What are those two things? Sadness of never understanding ourselves. One reason for our sadness is never understanding ourselves. Never understanding ourselves. Never understanding ourselves is one reason that makes us sad, and the second reason is threatening ourselves with death. Threatening ourselves with death. These 2 points are very, very important. According to the poet, two things make us sad. We are sad because of two things. One thing is never understanding ourselves. These 2 points. Second point is threatening ourselves with death. These 2 points may be explained in two different ways. Let me tell you. First is that we human beings do not understand ourselves. We do not know the purpose of life. We just think earning money and amassing huge amount of wealth is all that life is all about. And because of this kind of thinking, we spend our whole life running after business, running after money, and just thinking about expanding business, earning more money, and we do it at the cost of our own health, at the cost of our own well-being. And then why are we rushing? Why are we so preoccupied with this earning of money and having more wealth? Because we are afraid of death. We know that death will come, and before death I have to complete all these things. These two things, fear of death, and because of the fear of death, you are just in hurry to earn more money, to have more wealth. You are not concerned about your well-being, about the well-being of your family, about the well-being of your fellow human beings, about the well-being of environment. You are not at all bothered about it. And then the poet said that these two things have made us sad, and if we stop for 12 seconds, at least during those 12 seconds, this sadness will be gone. We will realize the purpose of life. We will realize the need for fraternity, the need for harmony, the need for love and care, the need for thinking about our own well-being. For a while, this sadness will be gone. It will be removed from our mind. Another explanation which I think is more suitable, more appropriate, is that never understanding ourselves is we human beings have forgotten the very fact that we all are brothers and sisters. That the human beings living in this world and those who lived before us, those who will come after us, human beings throughout history living in this whole world are the children, they are the offspring of the same original parents. Now we have divided ourselves into nationalities, into tribes, into races, into different sects on the basis of language and religion and whatnot. But that is not the thing. The first thing is that when we harm someone else, we are harming our own brother, because his original parent and my original parent are the same. This is the fact. This is called universal brotherhood of mankind. We human beings fail to understand ourselves. We do not at all bother about this fact that we all are the children of the same original parents. If we have this in our mind, we cannot harm others, we cannot think ill of others, we cannot kill others, we cannot fight against others. This is the thing that makes the poet sad. And because of this, because of our failure to understand this universal fraternity of mankind, what are the consequence? The consequence is that we are threatening ourselves with death. This is a very common sin nowadays. No one believes, no one trusts anyone else. We cannot have faith on others. We will doubt others, because there are examples of kidnapping and people becomes they are kidnapped and they are killed, there is shooting. You can't believe in anyone. You go to you are traveling in a train, an unknown fellow comes and he offers you some food, you take it, then you become senseless, then he loots your money and everything. Is it one human being should do to someone else? We have forgotten that the person whom I am looting, the person whose things I am stealing, the person whom I am killing, they are also a child of the same parents whose child I am. This is what we forget, and that is why we have forgotten, we have failed to make to understand this universal brotherhood of mankind, and as a result we cannot believe in anyone. There is always lack of trust, there is always doubt, there is always suspicion and confusion, and people killing others. We are threatening ourselves with death. If you leave your home, for example, and if you are going to your relative's home, and then while going, on the way you make a call to your mother, and yes, you say, yes, I am just close to my uncle's home. After a while, after 10 minutes, I will reach. Then again your mother calls you after 10 minutes, then you don't respond. Then again after 2 hours she calls you and she finds your mobile switched off. Will she be normal? Will she think, no, my son has reached my relative's home and maybe he has given his phone on charge and he is enjoying with his friends? No, your parents will think, what happened? A while ago he said after 10 minutes he is reaching, and now there is no response, and then later on the phone is not even reachable, it is switched off. What is the matter? Why? Because we are not able to trust others. We have always the negative thought. This kind of things are happening. People are kidnapped and killed in these ways. This means that we are threatening. There is always a fear of death in our mind. From whom? The fear of death is from our own fellow human beings, that other human beings may kill me. I am a human being, they are also human beings, but I am afraid that they may kill me. This fear of death is because we have never understood the universal brotherhood of mankind. These two things make the poet sad, and the poet said that if we keep quiet for 12 seconds, at least during those little time, throughout the whole world, there will be no sadness, because during those 12 seconds we will feel a oneness, we will feel a universal feeling that yes, we all are the same human beings, we have the same feelings, we are doing the same thing. So the sadness that has become very common in our mind because of our failure to understand ourselves, and as a result our fear of death in our mind, that no one feels safe anywhere. Anywhere there may be a bomb blast, these things are very common nowadays. There may be a killing, there may be looting, there may be kidnapping. So these things make us afraid, and at least during those 12 seconds this fear will be removed, because at that time we will practice love and care, and we will feel a kind of oneness, a kind of fellow feeling with other fellow human beings. So the poet then comes and he is giving another very beautiful argument. He is giving some very wonderful logic. Why? How? His point is that if we keep quiet for a while, don't think I am asking you to be like dead body, to become inactive. No, just for a while keep quiet. Take time, take out some time every day. Think about what I have done today. Think about your actions and their consequences. In the next stanza there are only 3 lines, and these 3 lines carry much significance. Why? The poet said, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. The earth itself teaches us that if you relax, if you stop your activity for a while, if you think about your actions, then you will get more energy, you will become a better human being. How? The poet said, the earth can teach us. The question may be, what can the earth teach us according to Pablo Neruda? The earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. You might have noticed that during winter season, when there is dry season, there is dryness all around, there is no rainfall, then what happens is that you see many of the plants and bushes and creepers, they disappear. Yes, you can find new passages, new ways on the backyard of your house, where there were plants and bushes. During winter season you find it has become clean and you can walk there. Small lanes are created in villages where you can walk freely during winter season, but when rain starts again, you see new plants growing. Where have these plants been all these days? they seem to be dead during winter. Beneath soil, beneath earth, they were having life, but they seem to us to have died. But with the coming of rainfall again, they have got life again. This means that apparently those creepers and bushes and plants seem to have died, but they did not die. They were having life. With the coming of rain, they have got their shape again and they are emerging, they are growing. By this, the poet wants to tell us that if we, in the same way, we stop our activity for a while, it may seem for a while that we are inactive, but this inactivity actually is a means of rejuvenating. It is a means of collecting and gathering more energy, and then start living your life in a better way. Just a break. Take a break. Think about your activities. And this break does not mean that you have become totally inactive. Just for a while, you are taking a break from your activity. You are thinking, and this will actually give you more life to start your life, your activities in a fresher way. The same is the case with plants and other things. During winter, they seem to be dead, but they again emerge with freshness, with newness, with more beauty. The same is the case with us. If we keep quiet, if we relax, it may seem that we are inactive, but we are not inactive. We are getting more energy, we are getting more fuel, we are becoming ready for living our life in a better way. The poet gives argument after argument the need for quiet introspection, the need for taking out some time, not to be busy all the time. So, although he makes a proposal, it is not possible for the people of the whole world to keep quiet for 12 seconds, and that will not also be of that much use. The poet's message is that the need for quiet introspection, the need for thinking about our activities, and this should be made a habit by all of us, that every day or very frequently, very regularly, we should keep quiet and think about our actions. And if we do this, then at least during this time we will just make a calculation. I am doing this kind of things. Is it right or wrong? I am not having closeness with my parents. I am not spending money on my parents who are ill. Is it a right thing on my part? No. Your judgment, your conscience will say, no, you are not doing the right thing. I am not attending classes. My teachers are taking a lot of pain, but I am not attending classes. I am not responding to them. Is it the right thing I am doing? My parents are spending money on me, but I am not doing justice to it. Is it the right thing I am doing? You ask yourself and you will get answer. So make this a habit. This is what the poet wants us to say. Now, coming to the end, the poet is convinced, he is satisfied. He thinks that yes, my logic, all my deliberations, my lecture, it has become successful. My readers have understood my point, and the poet is now satisfied. He is convinced that my readers have understood my points and they will do it. That's why the poet said, now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. My job is done. I have made a long lecture. I have made you understand things. You have got it. You have got the point. You have realized the need for keeping quiet and making calculation of your activities, and okay, I am sure you will do it. So I am leaving. You just start doing it. And the thing is that we have also got in the poem how we are harming ourselves. The poet has given example of salt and the man gathering salt. How we are harming other beings. The poet has given example of the man gathering salt. These are just two examples. By this he implies that in many ways we are harming ours, in many ways we are harming others. If we keep quiet, if we think about it, sometimes at some point of time our conscience, our good sense will prevail. It will tell us you are not doing the right thing, and earning money and running after your business and being so busy, not able to give time to your family, to your children, to yourself, not able to spend time with those people who once loved you and took care of you, who helped you in your growing, your grandmother, your grandparents. You don't have any time. So these are the things that will come to your mind, that yes, once upon a time when I was a small child, my grandmother loved me, she did all these things for me, but what am I doing? I am earning a lot of money, but I am not able to ever contact her, to help her. Is it the right thing I am doing? Then your conscience, your good sense will say, no, we are not doing the right thing. In this way, you will feel relaxed, and in this way, if you all start doing it, we all will become better human beings, and the world will become a better place, full of better human beings. This is the bottom line. I hope the way Pablo Neruda tells us that yes, I have done it, you have understood it, I am going, you just start doing it. I also tell you that we will end the video now. You start practicing this thing. It's a very good suggestion made by the poet. Start learning the lesson, the poem for your study, as well as learn the lesson for your whole life. Practice this kind of things, this kind of good things for your whole life. If you can do it, the poet's writing the poem will be successful, and my endeavors, my efforts in making this video will also be successful. Wishing to meet you soon with another video on a different topic. Thank you very much for being with me.